Hey everyone. Okay, well, haven't recorded in a while and thought I would do a pick a card reading. And this card reading is really about two individuals that are trying to figure themselves out in a connection. So if you are in a situation where you feel as though your person is trying to make things work within your connection, and you certainly know that you're trying to make things work within your connection, you want to get some insight as to what their intentions are, what their actions are, and really where this connection is going from their perspective. And then you want to gain some insight as to maybe how you're truly feeling on the inside, and reassurance on your intentions, and then of course what your future actions will look like if you continue down the path of making this connection go forward. So I'm going to start out by reading some traditional Rider-Waite tarot cards, and we're going to just take a look at the first energies that kind of come through. So if this is something that you feel is not what you're feeling right now, or doesn't describe your connection, or doesn't feel right, then this reading most likely is not for you. Okay, so what I'm really picking up right now in this connection is that there is some sorrow on both parties. And we've got two cards that fell out here, but back to what I was picking up. So you have these two parties who are feeling sorrowful, and not necessarily for the same reasons, but both parties know that there is work to be done in the connection, and both parties want to move forward, and they're not quite sure how to move forward. So the first two cards that we saw pop up was the Six of Pentacles and the Two of Swords. So seems right away from the hop that you have one individual, whether it be you or your person, that is giving more than they're receiving emotionally and maybe even physically. So acts of service, maybe showing more affection, energetically maybe putting in more effort in the relationship than the other individual, which is causing a little bit of an imbalance and a struggle here as to really one person, the one who's giving, questioning whether they're giving too much, or whether the other person is also as invested in the relationship as the one that is providing more energy and effort. Then you got the other individual here who is not quite putting in the effort physically, but certainly is torn between what the right action would be in this situation. So they're really stuck. They're kind of in a prison of their own real making, because they can literally put down the swords and untie the blindfold and decide which way they want to go, but they feel as though they are at an impasse, and they really don't know where they want to take this connection. But because it is so strong that they feel as though they're more invested mentally in really trying to do the right thing for the future of this connection, rather than maybe superficially, again, this is this individual's perspective of the one party, doing the materialistic thing, or investing maybe more emotion, or more service, or more gifts, or more affection, and saying that they're more committed, whereas this individual is really trying to figure out whether long term this makes lot of sense. And I'm also picking up that there are quite a few differences within the connection, which has got this person at this point in the relationship where they're really feeling as though there's some deal breakers that they might not want to look past, or some red flags that they might want to really consider or look into before moving forward, that they haven't written off the relationship, but they want to make sure are not going to hinder the connection in the future. And one that I'm picking up really is a difference in maybe values, or where you guys want to be in the future, where one might possibly want children and the other not, or one might want to live out east and one want to live out west, or one liking travel and not, or one being significantly older than the other and one being younger. Something that is very much a drastic difference in relationship, which is very serious in nature, and of course in their eyes, because it is very serious, they feel as though they're giving this connection a little bit more of a refined serious look at, whereas they feel that the individual who's more emotionally giving and reactionary into this particular connection might not be thinking long term. So that can definitely cause some arguments and some disconnect, because definitely these are two people who want the best for the connection, who are feeling like they want the connection to move forward, but they need these two issues kind of resolved, or at least on the same page, before they can move forward. So I'm going to pull a couple more cards and see what else we have. Now, if this doesn't sound like something that is going on in the connection, then you might want to move on to another pick a card, but it certainly is the dynamic that I'm picking up here in the connection. Okay, so we've got two cards here. Again, we have the Devil and the Five of Pentacles. So these are very powerful cards. When we're talking about the Devil and the Five of Pentacles, you're now dealing with these very intense emotions and like a powerful external and maybe internal imbalance. So the Devil definitely speaks of obsessions and maybe hanging on to one's way of really wanting to stick to what it is that they know, to the point of maybe not taking in the other person's perspective. And that is going to be the biggest challenge here, because even though there might be two ways of contributing to a connection, really the Devil here speaks of the unhealthy aspect, which is because one or both individuals are blinded by their own way of resolving or coming to a resolution in the connection, that they are embracing this Devil type attitude of obsession and only really seeing their own perspective, which is making both individuals feel as though they're left out in the cold. Okay, so it's definitely very a lot of pain I feel here, because I think both individuals are feeling like they want this connection to work, and even though both are questioning it, it's perpetuating into, now you guys are questioning whether the other individual feels as strongly as as they do, because of their blind way of dealing with trying to move the connection forward. So I'm going to pull actually feelings on both sides and see if we can get some feelings behind both parties. Okay, so we have for the Six of Pentacles person who is devoting more emotion, maybe more acts of service, maybe just giving a lot more. We have the Ace of Swords, and we also have the Six of Wands. So this individual is certainly wanting to resolve the issue, possibly more than the other individual, immediately. Talk about, you know, what's going on right now. Why is there two different contradicting ways of handling this connection, right? Also acknowledges that if there is one person trying to drive in one direction and the other in another, that it's going to cause a division, and really wants to discuss and resolve this more immediately than the other, whereas they feel like the other individual may not be wanting to address these concerns as quickly, or take them as seriously at this point. Now, this is just how this person feels. Doesn't mean that that your person, or that you don't want to address it. It's just not something that you're really at this time able to contribute, mentally, to add some foresight, because we're still kind of a ways away from addressing or taking any sort of action. Now, the Six of Wands, really speaks to this person. Now, we've got two sixes here, but really this person, the one who is the contributor to the connection, feels as though they're doing the right thing, and they're more valiant, and they are more in tune with the connection. That's how they're really feeling. They think that because they are the ones that are outputting more at this point, that they're showing more of a desire to want to fix things and act upon things. So it's very infuriating when you feel like maybe it's one side and you're the only one really. Oh, Spirit, too many cards, so we're gonna do this again and get less cards, which is also causing another dynamic, right? Another dynamic within the relationship. Why am I the only one that's kind of feeling this way, and my person is still sitting there, kind of not making any moves? So now you have the second individual that got the High Priestess. Now, this is a major arcana card, so I do feel as though, even though these feelings are very intense with person, we'll call it person A, right? The contributor, the one that wants to discuss things and resolve this issue more intently, and feels as though they're contributing more in the moment. The High Priestess here is really going inward. So the more this person is going outward, the person B is looking inward and trying to really take a deep dive, not only in the connection, but within themselves. Like, do I then really want children? Do I really, need travel in my future in order to stay committed to this person? Do I really need to, be close to my family? Or is it okay if we move closer to person A's family? And that sort of thing, where the discussions are kind of deal breakers for one person, and instead of an outright no, they're kind of going within to take a look at, how it is that they're feeling. And I think that's a very valiant perspective, for sure. And then the stars also come out. So now we've got two major arcanas, and the star speaks of hope. So they are hopeful that by doing this, the connection will head in the direction that it is meant to be, and they are hopeful that it is, within the both of you guys coming to a resolution. So because these are major arcanas, I also feel like person B would be a very difficult situation for person A to kind of just write off. This is why they're as committed to person B, because these are very powerful external emotions and circumstances and driven forces that are kind of beyond the surface level. And so then person A can kind of concede a little bit more to person B, and it makes this situation even more difficult. So we're going to see if we can get some intentions behind behind both of your, I guess, perspectives of the connection. And intention is really, you know, what that individual wants to kind of drive forward, and what they hope to see within that connection. I'm also getting the sense that this relationship might have took off quite quickly in the initial stages. And because it moved very quickly, you know, a lot of the, I call deal breakers, probably weren't really ironed out until the emotions were there. And then it is now time to take a deeper look. So we've got the Fool card, and the Fool card actually came out reverse here. So we've got, you know, person A almost in a different phase of being a little bit stubborn to take a leap of faith blindly into what person B might be presenting or requesting in this situation. And, you know, because this is intention, it's almost like if person B is telling me to do whatever it is that goes against my value or what I've, you know, been hanging on to, I'm not wanting to take that jump or that risk just yet. So even though, you know, the Fool card would be, you know, someone willing to move forward in a direction, not really knowing the outcome, the reverse to me just speaks of, I can't blindly take that leap of faith, you know, by sacrificing maybe something that for me was or is very important to my values or my beliefs or my understanding or my goal or my future of what I always kind of wanted for myself. And that's very difficult to move. And this is a major arcana as well. So because this person's intentions is a strong stance, it's, you know, borderline obsessive, because it's not being re-evaluated now. It's like, I know this is kind of what I want because this is something that I've told myself and that I've always felt to be true for what I needed. So I don't need to reevaluate this, and this is my position. And there is no moving forward from that. Okay, so person B, their intentions. And we'll pull one card for their intentions, and we got the Four of Wands. Okay, so not a major arcana, so that's kind of interesting that the intentions for person A is a major arcana, and then we got the intentions for person B, which is really the Four of Wands, which is this person really just wants to have a stable connection at the end of the day that's going to be happy and beneficial to both parties. That's going to provide the stability and the growth and fulfill each side equally. At this state, though, they're uncertain what that would be, but their intentions is that that is the highest good for both parties, is to reach that, you know, elevated state that I think both of you guys want. So it looks like we got two reverse roles happening here, where one might be a little more driven in the present and the other body might be a little more driven in the future to make, you know, lockstep decisions together in the relationship. So now we're going to pull some action cards. And these action cards are really going to be where this connection is. It's going to take itself in the near future. you know, what actions are going to happen in this connection that's really going to happen to move it forward. Okay, so we got the Hangman. And we've got the Nine of Cups. I'm getting that, oh, we got another card here that I didn't see. So, Knight of Cups. Okay, so quite a bit of cups coming out. So you'll definitely be an emotional, more emotional sort of action where both of you guys are really going to act on your emotions rather than what you're mentally kind of going through, the mental prison that you guys are in, or maybe any sort of materialistic actions that are happening, or materialistic sort of things that are transpiring. It's really the emotions that are going to take precedent here. Okay, so we've got the Six of Wands and the Six of Wands on top of the Six of Wands, which, as we talked about, is really that higher victorious feeling, celebration within that connection that both of you guys want. And then you've got the High Priestess here, which is a little element of person B, which was that internal dive into looking within the individual to make the right decision for the connection here. So what I'm picking up really from these cards is that despite the perspective that both individuals have in this connection, which is really taking a hold of the connection at this time, that both individuals know that, you know, you guys are each other's counterpart, that you guys fulfill each other on an emotional level, that you guys are each other's desire and wants, wish fulfillment, and both want to drive towards emotionally fulfilling the other, however that may be, right? Both of you guys will, you know, act in fulfilling that desire, which, you know, will ultimately be resulting in that victorious connection and that celebration of the relationship, because you guys are acting out of true emotion here rather than, you know, the stalemate that both of you guys are in. And then the High Priestess here speaks really about, even though this is what is happening on the surface, there still is a level here maybe that, and I'm picking up maybe for person B, that they're still internally maybe cutting off this, you know, this deeper connection within themselves that needs to be fulfilled, and quietening that side in order to move forward and propel this connection forward. So really, if anyone's conceding within this connection, it'd be person B, and they're doing so in order to propel the relationship or the connection forward by you know, maybe cutting off the fact that they are not needing to hang on so much to you know, what their true deep wants were when they first started the connection. So it could be something a little difficult as you guys move forward in the connection, that one person may have a little bit of resentment that they might have conceded and gave in to something that kind of meant something important to them. So just being aware that this might come back in the relationship where, you know, they feel as though they were maybe pressured into letting that go in order to move forward, might resurface at a different point. So now we're going to pick some, you know, some oracle cards to kind of just maybe give some guidance around where you guys can meet each other halfway to be supportive of what's going on in the connection. So we have awakening ancient wisdom. Deep inner knowing is emerging within me. So this is definitely like the Ace of Cups, where you have this emotional cup that's really overflowing with emotion. So the guidance here is, again, I guess because we are reflecting that in the actions, that how you guys are really feeling for one another is really going to be the voice that you guys follow, the voice that you should really be listening to in order to trust that you guys are making the right decision in the connection. And emotionally, you know, being open to that emotion, and really following lockstep to what you truly feel on a deep level is going to be the key to making the other person happy, and in turn helping this connection move forward peacefully, especially at this time. You know, these questions about values and deal breakers and internal happiness will definitely be a conversation that comes up, but it doesn't need to be tackled all at once. Person A needs to understand that even though they want to discuss and resolve, you know, what's going on here, they're going to have to know that if person B concedes, it's going to have to be on their own timetable to, you know, then be able to open up to some of these things and let go. But at this current time, really just following that emotional feeling that you guys have for one another to kind of get through this tough period of turmoil. So cultivating prosperity, the abundance of the universe is pouring into my life, right? So really how you guys emotionally support and embrace each other's perspectives right now is really planting those seeds of the future of this connection. So anything hurtful that might be said, any sort of pushing the other individual out of their way of thinking or their comfort zone will really just, you know, tear away at some of this beautiful seeds that we have cultivating in the relationship. So you want to just be very cautious of how you or your person is having that conversation with one another. I have a feeling person A is really pushing person B, who's really going more internal, whereas person A is really an external type A personality and wanting things resolved and discussed and really pushing person B. But you know, a seed takes time to grow. They just need to learn patience and know that person B might just take a little longer to come around in order to let go of some of the stuff that's happening on the surface right now. So what we're going to pull is some charms, and you might want to think of a question that you want answered in this connection that's going to help you to step forward. With this connection, so you can be more at peace, because I feel it's very much a uneasy feeling right now for both parties. Okay, so for the charms, I'm just going to move these over. For the charms here, we have the question mark. Justice, Chariot, and you got the Five of Wands in reverse, and you've got the Queen of Cups, you got the letter H, you've got the number 6 or the number 9, whichever way you guys want. Now I'm hearing 69, so definitely a lot of passion in that relationship. We have and. We have the Hangman. We have the number 2. And then we have this chess piece here. And we have the letter F. So we can see here, you know, definitely, I'm getting a really strong sense that you guys are really made for each other, that there really is only you two in this situation. There's no external person that's really driving. And I think that might be part of someone's question here was, well, you know, are they person A or person B doing this to cover up maybe that there is another party? And I'm sensing that person A is sensing that person B might be pulling back or holding back because they might be hesitant to have another individual. And this is really just confirming that no, there really is only you in their eyes, that there is no other individual, that it's just you two, you know, resolving or dealing with this. And you know, maybe one of your initials is F, maybe one of you guys was born in February, or something important about Friday, initial H, right? I'm hearing Henry, maybe one of you guys likes Henry bars or chocolates. A lot of questions around, you know, you guys both have a lot of questions about the other, and it's actually really cute because you guys are asking the same question about one another. You know, does my person feel the same way I do? You know, is their action mean it's covering up something else? So even though one person's more outwardly showing something, person B thinks, are they doing that to maybe hide a hidden truth of their deep self? Whereas person A thinks, while person B is retreating, that maybe they're hiding a truth that's not coming out. But both of you guys certainly feel for one another in the same depth, same fashion. And now with the cards here that we see, you know, I think you guys are both wanting to push through to have the best resolve and a balanced type relationship where, you know, the outcome is something that you guys both desire, and it knowing that you'll have to drop your guard a little bit and concede and maybe, you know, just drop the defensive position and not fight so much for what it is that you might be holding on to, and being a little more compassionate, a little more emotionally forgiving when it comes to letting go of some of the stuff that you've hung on to in order to move forward, and taking a step back and having that higher perspective of the connection as a whole in order to do that. Then we have this chess piece here, and it's really saying to me that, you know, in chess, this piece, I'm not even sure what, maybe this is the pawn, but I don't even know if this is the pawn, but in chess, I feel like this piece can, you know, move in certain directions. This one makes an L shape, but wherever it goes, its home base is always its root, and I kind of feel like no matter which path this person, this connection kind of goes, it's always going to be grounded in the root place, which is one another, right? There's only the two of you guys, and however you guys end up getting there is always going to be the fair outcome, because that's really divinely where this relationship's guided. So that's what I'm seeing for your relationship, and we can end with a word from your person, and I'll just grab those. And we'll see what sort of message the individual that you're thinking of wants you to leave this with, and maybe even think about. Oh, so we've got 3 messages here from your person. They really want to speak. So I want to smell you so bad. So now we have that again. We mentioned the 69. We've got the, you know, an individual here that just wants to be intimate and really get close to you. I am trying to move on. So I think both of you guys might be trying. I feel person B is maybe conceding with some of more the deep truths to try to move on and make person A happy in the present, and then reach out. So, you know, reach out, more discussion, let that other individual know that you know, you're willing to have discussions, you're willing to maybe ease their mind. Sometimes it's easy to just close off and not, and expect the other individual to take a step forward, but we all have to be aware that when we're in a relationship that each party needs to take that step in reaching out. And I know that person A feels as though they've been putting everything forward, that person B should really be the one reaching out. But this is more of a message I feel for person A, saying let's reach out in a different way and connect with maybe the deeper meanings that are going on, instead of a place more of material, physical givings, maybe reaching out in a way to let person B maybe express themselves more openly, being more open to person B, you know, sharing some of these fears and deep thoughts and stressors so that they are able to move forward for person A. Anyway, that is what I have, and yeah, hopefully this resonated. Let me know, and bless you guys.